Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So I recently bought this beginner's fishing kit from a store called Home Bargains here in the UK for under £10. I bought it for £9.99 and apparently it's a kit for beginners and you get everything you need to catch a fish. So in this video I'll be doing an unboxing, testing and a review of this beginner's fishing kit. Right, so here it is, the Landed Fishing Co. Beginner's Fishing Kit. A full kit, rod, reel, tackle box, everything you need to catch a fish. I don't need one of these, I've got plenty of fishing tackle, but I wanted to see if it's usable, if you can catch a fish with it, because I remember when I started fishing when I was a kid, I had a kit similar to this, but the kit that I had didn't look as good as this one. I know this is not fantastic, I mean it's under £10 for the whole lot, but the one that I had wasn't anywhere near as good as this back in the 90s, so I'm expecting this to work okay. So let's take a look at the box. So it says that the kit includes fishing hooks, sinkers, swivels, lures, hooks with sinker, fly hooks with sinker, floats and equipment case. So yeah, full little kit for a kid, young person that wants to get into fishing, or if you're going on holiday and you want to keep the children happy, this small rod and reel might be good. So I'm going to open up the box now and we'll take a look at the contents. Packaging is quite useful. It's got fishing tips on here that includes, it talks about taking home your rubbish, protect yourself, casting techniques, all different steps on casting, and then how to tie a hook on. So you can sit there at home and you can practice all these ways to tie a hook and to set up the rod before you even go fishing. Okay, so I've got everything laid out now and we can go through everything. First impressions are, of course, it's not fantastic quality, but for a starter kit for under £10, I think this will work. Starting off with the reel. Nice little reel, gear ratio 5.2 to 1. It's called an XT200. And it tells you the line capacities on the spool. It's got a line clip. And it's a front drag reel, so you can tighten and loosen the clutch on this knob at the front here. And it's got a little handle that flicks down like a quick release, and then you push a button and it goes back. I remember in the 90s you couldn't get stuff like this. It was just, you had to just unscrew the handle, and the operation of the reel was awful on the really cheap reels in the 90s. I think my set was £5 back then, a little rod and a reel. It was terrible. Anyway, you've even got, what is this? You can backwind, you can go forwards and backwards, and then you can lock it off so that it only goes forwards. So it's kind of got all the features that your average front drag reel would have, and it actually looks quite good too, and it's preloaded with some line. I don't know what line this is, but it's always pretty heavy duty line on these cheap setups, so it's probably, I don't know, £6-7, something like that. I'll use the line on the spool that came with it. Nice looking little reel. The adjustment at the front doesn't feel great, sort of got a kind of, there's not a lot to play with there. It tightens up very quickly. Sounds okay. That's probably the biggest letdown, I think, of the adjustment here at the front. Doesn't feel great. As you can see, you only need a couple of, like a turn or so, and then it gets tight. But it's functional, seems to be okay, and the bail arm seems to work. So we got a little reel. You could use this for spinner fishing, bit of float fishing. Doesn't feel great quality, but of course you wouldn't expect it to be, but seems okay. Next up we've got this tackle box. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 compartments here. Opens up at the front. Oh, and these are removable as well, so you can adjust these dividers. Not much to say there. Pretty basic little tackle box. I'll put the tackle provided in here in a moment. So then you've got the equipment case that it comes with. So a little blue bag. Okay. Yeah, not bad at all. Keep everything in that blue bag. It's got a pull string on the end here. Okay. Not bad. It's a bit like a tarpaulin, sort of water resistant material. Oh, and it's even got a handle on the side there. Okay. Not bad. So let's take a little look at the rod. So it's got foam handle, like a miniature normal rod, like a standard rod that you would buy. This is like a mini version, and you can screw the reel on here. And then loosen it, and I'm guessing it's fiberglass, but it looks quite nice. It's like black with some dark red bands around by where the eyes are. The eyes feel good as well. Yeah, the eye on the end of the rod looks okay too. Doesn't look too bad at all. Has a nice bit of flex in it, so that's pretty good. Nice short rod, because when you're learning to fish, it's very difficult to cast a long rod. So it's always easier to work with a small rod to begin with, and then practice a bit, and then work your way up to a longer rod. Of course, if you could, I'd buy a separate reel that's a bit better quality than this one. Although, as I've said, I think this will do the job. So here's the tackle then. So you get some little bobber floats. 3 of those. You get a little packet of swivels. A tiny packet of shots. To weight down your float. And you get a small pack of hooks, and they look barbless, which is good. The pack I got with my starter kit were like really big sea hooks with barbs on, so they were useless. But these actually look like they can be used. It's also got some little jig heads, so if you want to do a bit of, funnily enough, they're barbless as well. Little jig heads for jigging for perch. And there's some little jelly lures on here that you could add onto these. You could add something like that onto the jig head if you wanted to catch some predator fish like perch or small pike. Then it has like these kind of jig heads that have got feathers on. Again with barbless hooks. And then you've got like a selection of little jellied lures. So there's like little plastic or rubber crayfish type things, and just like little curly tail worms. And it also comes with this, like a piece of string. I'm not sure what this is. Let's have a look. Comes with this weird looking device, like a piece of string with a weird shaped bit of metal on the end. I've no idea what this is. Never used one of these in my fishing. If you know what that is, please let me know in the comments. So that is about it for all the setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this down to a local fishery when I'm having a session, and I'm going to set it up probably with one of the floats, one of these bobber floats, and one of the provided hooks. I'm going to use all the provided tackle, I'm not going to cheat. So I'm going to use the hook, swivel, bobber, and set the rod up, and I'm going to see if I can catch a fish. Right, so I've packed my little tackle box as much as I can, and I've managed to get everything in there. So now I just need to get to the bank and see if we can catch anything. Okay, so I'm here at the bank and I've got this starter rod set up. I've put one of these floats on, these bobber floats, and I've got one of the provided barbless hooks on as well. So I'm only going to use what was in the package. It's all set up, ready to go. So I'm going to put some bait on here and see if we can catch anything.
If that thing is not, it's gonna hit me. Yeah, look, it's coming.
When you think it's ready, it's not. It's so short, I can't steal it. Fish. Easy. And this was the bait I caught it on, some of this sourdough bread, just around the big hook. So there you have it, I caught a fish on this beginner's kit. The float looks like it's broke, the line is all twisted up and beaten up, Wasn't expecting to catch something that big on it, but there you go. That's probably an £8 or £9 carp. A bit stressful, but we got it. Okay, so now I'm back at home. I can finally give a little conclusion on this little setup. So £9.99 for a complete setup of fishing tackle. I'm going to go with the bad points first, I think. Then we'll get on to the good points. So bad points, start off with the reel. The line is just unnecessary. It's probably 10 to 15 pound line, really thick line. Might even be more than 15 pound. Not necessary for a beginner. It just causes frustration. It flicks off, it flies off the reel, it curls up. It's awkward to use. It's not great, and it's underfilled as well. You can see the spool doesn't have enough line on it anyway. So I would suggest getting your own line, replacing this with your own line. And the reel itself, it looks good, and it's got this nice feature where it's got the flip down handle that clicks into place, so you don't have to turn it up and down, and it just saves time. You can just flick it out of the way. I mean, that works well, and it's okay in appearance, but it doesn't function very well. The clutch here to adjust, it's almost non-existent. You've almost got no clutch or too much clutch. There's sort of not much adjustment there. It's frustrating to use. You can cast okay with it, but long term I wouldn't want to use this reel. It's a shame because it actually looks quite cool, but everything else works okay. The anti-reverse works, just got a really bad clutch, and the line is much too thick. Moving on to the tackle provided. So you don't get much. The hooks are barbless, which is great because, especially in the UK, barbless hooks are preferred in most fisheries, but they're a little bit on the big side. They're sort of, I don't know, a number 8. They just don't need to be that big. I suppose if you're practicing tying a hook on, it's easier with big line and big hooks. But there's not much variety, so you can't catch smaller fish, which you'd probably want to catch if you're getting into fishing. You saw the fish I caught on the video. I probably caught such a big fish because I'm using a big hook and a big bait, and I've got strong line on. Some of the stuff in here is okay. I mean, these are okay for lure fishing, these little jelly things. Little jelly jigs, they're okay. The bobber floats are quite frustrating. I needed to add a few shots on here to weight them down. Not the best. I'm not a fan really of these. A normal regular float would have been better, I think. The swivels are fine, and the little case is okay too, so it's not too much negative to say about that. And then moving on to the rod, I actually don't have anything negative to say about the rod, bearing in mind the cost of this kit. Where it seats on, where the reel seats onto the rod, that works well. It's a nice colour, it's got a nice action to it. It does give, as you can see, it's not bad. Nice whipping round the eyes. Quite a nice little 2-piece starter rod. It's certainly better than the one I had when I started. And it's made of fiberglass. And it all comes in a bag as well. So I think you've really got to think about the price here. Of course, I wouldn't recommend buying this if you can afford to spend more money. Although some people just getting into fishing, they might not want to spend a lot. They might not know if they like it or not. It might just be like a tryout kind of thing. But then on the other hand, if you're using frustrating equipment, it might put you off. So I'm not sure what to say about this one. It does work, you can catch fish with it, and you're getting everything for under £10, which is remarkable, I think, in 2024. So let me know what you think. Okay, so that is about it for this video. There's your beginners $9.99 fishing set. It's quite a fun video to do. It probably took me 4 or 5 hours to catch a fish. Really difficult to catch a fish with a rod like this with really thick line and larger hook size, but it was worth it, and it happened to be a big one, so it can definitely take a big fish. This rod did not show any signs of breaking whatsoever. The reel was struggling a bit. What do you think? Would you buy a starter fishing kit for under a tenner to start fishing, or to give as someone for a gift if they want to get into fishing, please let me know in the comments. I won't be using this rod again, I can tell you that. I'll be moving back onto my regular gear. So if you did find this video useful, please remember to like and also consider subscribing for more fishing related videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.